Good morning everyone and welcome to the class. We are doing the chapter Environment and Natural Resources, and under this chapter we are doing the indigenous peoples and their rights. Okay, now we see that in the previous class I told you what do we mean by indigenous people. Indigenous people are those people who are the descendants of peoples who inhabited the present territory of a country at the time when persons of a different culture or ethnic origin arrived there from other parts of the world and overcame them. They are the original people. They have inhabited that territory of any part of the world which was uninhabited earlier. They were the first people to inhabit that territory, and now other people belonging to different culture, people belonging to different ethnic origins they have arrived there, and now they want to overcome them. They are overcoming them. Okay, so these people are known as indigenous people, and we see that these indigenous people, they do not follow the custom and traditions of the country. They are now the part of any country, है ना? But they don't follow the all the practices, all the tradition and customs according to the all the social customs, all the economic practices, everything. Whatever are there for a country, they do not follow them. इंडिजिनस पीपल जो होते हैं वो उनका अपना ही तौर तरीका होता है. वो अपने हिसाब से, उनकी अपनी सोशल लाइफ होती है, उनकी अपनी इकोनॉमिक तरीका होता है, अपना कल्चरल कस्टम होता है, ट्रेडिशंस होते हैं, और वो अलग, बिल्कुल अलग होके अपने हिसाब से चलते हैं. इसलिए कई बार ही हम देखते हैं इस तरह की, यही दीज आर द प्रॉब्लम्स विच वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी. इंडिजिनस पीपल जो होते हैं वो अपने आप को फॉरेस्ट के ओनर्स होते हैं. एक्चुअली they consider themselves as the owners of the forest, and they never misuse the resources. They never over exploit the resources. They live in very much harmony with the nature. उनकी नेचर से बिल्कुल भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं होती है. पूरी की पूरी हारमोनियस रिलेशनशिप है उनका नेचर के साथ. दे कंसिडर देमसेल्फ एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट. They consider themselves as the part of the nature, so they never destroy the nature. उनका अपना तौर तरीका होता है. हर, चाहे सोशल लाइफ देखें, चाहे इकोनॉमिक लाइफ देखें, चाहे पॉलिटिकल लाइफ देखें, वो अपने तरीके से अपनी चीज़ों को करते हैं. और जिस कंट्री के वो हिस्सा होते हैं, उस कंट्री के चीज़ों को फॉलो करें ऐसा जरूरी नहीं. कई बार जो गवर्नमेंट होती है, अपनी खुद की गवर्नमेंट ऐसे रूल्स बना देती है जो कि उनके अगेंस्ट चला जाता है, और तब ये सवाल उठता है उनकी राइट्स का. इंडिजिनस पीपल एंड देयर राइट्स, है ना? तो ये प्रॉब्लम है इंडिजिनस पीपल की, जो जिसको कि हम अभी उसी के बारे में डिस्कशन हमारी हो रही है. सो देयर इज़ अ डेटा that approximately there are 30 crore indigenous people spread throughout the world. Okay, so 30 crore people. Now in this 30 crore indigenous people, we find that 20 lakh indigenous people belongs to Philippines. ओके इस तरह से अगर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हम देखें तो द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज़ इस तरह से है 20 लाख जो है वो फिलीपींस को बिलोंग करते हैं. 10 लाख जो पीपल है इंडिजिनस पीपल दे बिलोंग टू चिली. 6 लाख जो इंडिजिनस पीपल हैं दे बिलोंग टू चित्तगांव हिल जो कि बांग्लादेश में है. 35 लाख पीपल बिलोंग टू नॉर्थ अमेरिका and 50,000 people belong to Panama Canal and 10 lakh people belong to Soviet North. Okay, so these are the different distribution of indigenous people. So you can see that they are spread all over the world. पूरी दुनिया में वो spread है. And we find that there are some common problems of these people. Though they are living in different parts of the world, they are under the authority of different governments, different types of government, but some of their problems are common. As indigenous people, some problems are common, and these indigenous people, they struggle for their right. They have started their struggle for their right. They have their agenda, they have their struggle. Okay, and we see their first demand, and the most important demand is that they should be considered in the world community as equals. This is the problem. They are not considered as equals by the government. The government of their own country do not treat them as equal. So their first demand is कि उनको equal level पे समझना चाहिए. They should be admitted. They should be treated as equals. And like सेंट्रल अमेरिका में वो हैं, साउथ अमेरिका में हैं, अफ्रीका में हैं, इंडिया में हैं, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में, इन सारी कंट्रीज़ में ये ओरिजिनल पीपल हैं. और अगर अपनी कंट्री की हम बात करें इंडिया में, तो हम अपने इंडिया में इन ओरिजिनल पीपल्स को क्या कहते हैं? वी कॉल देम ट्राइबल्स. दीज ओरिजिनल पीपल आर कॉल्ड ट्राइबल्स इन आवर कंट्री, है ना. सो there are different types of original people who live mainly in the island countries like New Zealand, Australia. All these are inhabited by these indigenous people, and they can be categorized as Polynesian. Okay, Polynesian. Then Micronesian, Polynesian, Micronesian, Melanesian, so these are the indigenous people who live in different island countries, and we find that they may be living at different parts of the country. Their geographical area is different, but their problems are similar because the basic thing is similar. They all live in harmony with the nature. They all consider themselves as a part of nature. So whenever there is a move by the government to go against nature, it harms the interest of the indigenous people also. So their demand is to conserve the nature. They want to conserve the nature, because by conserving the nature, actually you will conserve, you will protect the rights of the indigenous people only. So it is very important. Whenever there is any type of work is done, deforestation, suppose if deforestation is done, it largely impact the life of an indigenous people. It's not only that they will lose their economic resources, or it is going to impact their economic life only. Actually, it causes impact in their social as well as cultural life. All aspects of their life are related to the natural resources, and if the natural resources are not being used properly, they are misused, then the bad impact will be on the life of the indigenous people. And now we come to the tribals of our own country. Okay. The tribals in India is actually in our constitution we have given the special status to these tribals. They are listed. They are listed in the constitution. They are known as scheduled caste. So not scheduled caste, it's scheduled tribes. There are two categories. One is of scheduled caste, about which you have studied in earlier class also, 11th में भी आपने पढ़ा है. तो शेड्यूल कास्ट एक कैटेगरी हुआ. दूसरी जो कैटेगरी है दैट इज़ ऑफ शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स. तो ये जो शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स हैं इनके लिए हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस किए गए हैं, ताकि बिकॉज एवरीवन नोज दैट दीज पीपल नीड्स protection of the government, protection of the constitution. Moreover, it is important to give them place in the constitution itself, so that the government the government will not go against the constitution. तो इस तरह से कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है वो इनके इंटरेस्ट को, इनके राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करता है. हमारी कंट्री में इनको शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट कहा गया है, और ये हमारे पूरे पॉपुलेशन का 8% जो है वो यही शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट है. 8% ऑफ टोटल पॉपुलेशन. So these tribal people, there are some a very small fraction of the tribal people are hunters and gatherers also. At present also they are engaged in the activities of hunting and gathering, as the tribals who live in the Andaman Nicobar Island, they are, some of them are engaged in this hunting and gathering. But most of the tribals are engaged in the cultivation of the land. Cultivation is their, farming is their primary economic activity, and they depend for their subsistence primarily on the cultivation of land. So land is very much important for them. And what we find that if we see the history, in ancient time as well, we can see that the tribals were given complete authority over the area in which they were living. They were out of the rule of the king. राजा भी जो होते थे वो भी ट्राइबल एरियाज़ में इंटरफेयर नहीं करते थे, क्योंकि ट्राइबल्स जो हैं वो अपने तरीके से अपने लाइफ को लीड करते हैं. मीडिएवल पीरियड में भी इसी तरह से चला. तो बहुत सालों से हम ये कह सकते हैं सेंचुरीज़ हो गए, जबकि जो ट्राइबल्स हैं वो अपने हिसाब से जितना भी लैंड उनको चाहिए, उनको लैंड की कभी कमी नहीं हुई. they had free access to as much land as they could cultivate. But when India came under the British colonial rule, from that time we find that the problem started, because the British came here for resources only. Our resources were their prime aim. They wanted to exploit as much resources from our country as possible. And they found that the forest, which were such a rich resource, so such a good quality of woods were available in the forest, but the problem was these tribals, because forest was considered to be the tribals were considered to be the owner of the forest. The government has never interfered. Government ने तो नहीं कहेंगे, medieval period में जो kings होते थे, they have also never interfered in those areas which were inhabited by the tribals. But British started to control. They started to have their access in the forest also, because they wanted to exploit the forest resource of our country. And for that purpose, so many forest laws were formed. Forest laws were enacted by the British government, that कि कौन से इस तरह के फॉरेस्ट है, रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट हो गए, जहाँ पर से कि ट्राइबल्स को ही निकाल दिया गया. They were not allowed to enter the forest area. And when they realized that they need labor for the purpose of cutting of the this wood and then transporting of the woods, they needed labor. Then what they said, yes, you can use the land of the forest, but in lieu of that use of land of the forest, you will have to do labor, you have to do the work. तो इस तरह से उनको धीरे धीरे फॉरेस्ट लॉज बना करके जो ब्रिटिश थे, उन्होंने उनको फॉरेस्ट से बाहर कर दिया. एंड दैट वाज द बिगनिंग ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम. यहीं से हम कहेंगे कि जो ट्राइबल्स की प्रॉब्लम इंडिया में स्टार्ट होती है, वो यहीं से स्टार्ट होती है. एंड व्हेन द ब्रिटिश रूल एंडेड, वी गॉट इंडिपेंडेंस on 15th August 1947, and we got a new constitution. A new constitution was drafted by the Constituent Assembly, which was formed by the representatives of the people. So in this constitution we find that protection was given to the interest of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So scheduled tribes, they were given reservation in the political representation, like our Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha, some seats are reserved for these people who belong to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. तो शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स जो कि हमारे पॉपुलेशन का 8% है, उनके लिए सीट्स रिज़र्व किए गए. दिस इज़ अ वेरी पॉजिटिव मूव, वी कैन से. सीट रिज़र्व करने का ये मतलब हुआ कि कुछ ऐसे कंस्टिट्यूएंसीज़ हैं जहाँ पर कि जो भी कैंडिडेट खड़े होंगे, अगर इफ़ द कंस्टिट्यूएंसी इज़ रिज़र्व फॉर शेड्यूल ट्राइब, देन whoever candidate is going to contest the election, he or she must belong to that tribal community. So in this way their political representation was that was fixed कि हाँ उनको political representation इतना मिलना ही चाहिए. It was a very very positive move हम कह सकते हैं, क्योंकि अगर उनको reservation नहीं दिया जाता तो उनका representation बिल्कुल भी not possible. जो कंडीशन प्रिवेल कर रही थी उसमें हम बिल्कुल भी नहीं कह सकते हैं कि उनको रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिल सकता था. कभी भी नहीं मिलता उनको रिप्रेजेंटेशन, है ना. तो ये सिचुएशन जो है वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने चेंज किया. देन जॉब्स में भी हमारे यहाँ रिजर्वेशन की सिस्टम है कि जो एसटी के कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनके लिए सीट्स रिजर्व होती हैं, उनके लिए गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स में. देन उनके लिए जो वो होते हैं गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स के अलावा जो हायर एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं वहाँ पर भी एडमिशन के लिए उनके लिए सीट्स रिजर्व्ड होते हैं. But at the same time we find that though the constitution has made provisions for all these things, but still economic development was the prime concern of the newly independent country of our newly independent country, which was we. हम नए नए इंडिपेंडेंट हुए थे. हमारे सामने जो इकोनॉमिक बैकवर्डनेस थी वो हमारे सामने सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज था, और इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट के लिए बहुत सारे ऐसे डिसीजंस गवर्नमेंट ने लिए जो कि ट्राइबल्स के हम कह सकते हैं अगेंस्ट हुआ. लाइक इसमें जो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है जो डैम्स का कंस्ट्रक्शन. बिकॉज ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ डैम्स व्हाट हैपन्स, deforestation, and this deforestation causes displacement of the people, and the people who are displaced by deforestation, they mostly belong to the tribal communities only. Likewise mining industry, mining के लिए भी deforestation होता है, जिस किसी भी reason से deforestation होता है, that deforestation causes displacement, and this displacement is of the tribal communities only. So this is the problem. Okay, and we see that it is not the problem of only India. All the world, all over the world, this problem is being faced by the indigenous people. They are facing the same kind of problems in all parts of the world, and now they are started to contact each other. They are having they are started to interact with each other, and they are trying to arouse a sense of common concern. हम सब का जो भी ट्राइबल्स हैं उन सब की कंसर्न एक है. दे ऑल हैव अ सेम एक्सपीरियंस, they have experienced the same thing, they have the same concern. So there are efforts to organize themselves. They are organizing themselves so that their voice can be heard at the national level, at the international level. And in this regard we must mention the World Council of Indigenous People. The World Council of Indigenous People, it was formed in the year 1975. Okay, so this council is to raise the voice, to raise the problems of the indigenous people, to raise their concern, their interest at the national as well as at the international level. And this council, actually now there are 11 indigenous NGOs. Okay, 11 indigenous NGOs, and these NGOs have been given the consultative status in the UN. UN ने इनको consultative status मिल चुका है, and the first NGO to get this consultative status was the World Council of Indigenous People. After that so many indigenous peoples के लिए जो इतने सारे NGOs बने, उन सब में 11 को ये स्टेटस, कंसल्टेटिव स्टेटस मिल चुका है. जो भी डिसीजंस यूएन लेता है उसमें इनकी भी कंसर्न को रखा जाता है, इनकी भी ओपिनियन को लिया जाता है. एंड बहुत सारे मूवमेंट्स चल रहे हैं. इसमें एक जो बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट मूवमेंट है, दैट इज़ अगेंस्ट ग्लोबलाइजेशन. बिकॉज ग्लोबलाइजेशन का जो प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हुआ है, स्पेशली आफ्टर 1991, after the disintegration of USSR, we find that this process of globalization has actually made the condition worse, because ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी बढ़ चुका है. हर तरफ कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं रह गए. जो भी पहले कंट्रीज़ पे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस थे वो सारे ख़त्म हो गए. तो ये इन सब ने इंडिजिनस पीपल के राइट्स को और भी बुरी तरह से इम्पैक्ट किया है. नाउ वी हैव द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर इज दैट इज़ ग्लोबलाइजेशन ओनली. अब हम लोग नेक्स्ट चैप्टर जो करेंगे वो ग्लोबलाइजेशन ही है. तो अभी वी हैव कंप्लीटेड दिस चैप्टर, एंड नाउ we will see some questions from this chapter. इस चैप्टर के अंदर से जो भी कुछ questions, important questions जो हैं उसको देखेंगे. important अगर हम देखें तो इसमें एक ही important question सबसे ज़्यादा है, that is रियो समिट. रियो समिट, क्योटो प्रोटोकॉल, ये दो जो है वो सबसे ज़्यादा है. देन कॉमन एंड डिफ्रेंशिएटेड responsibilities. These are the some of the important topics from this chapter. Okay, so we have to do some important question, like I'm just giving you questions. The first question is describe or explain global efforts for explain global efforts for the conservation of nature. नेचर के कंजर्वेशन के लिए जो ग्लोबल एफर्ट्स हुए वो आपको बताना है. तो फर्स्ट जो ग्लोबल एफर्ट है वो 1960s ऑनवर्ड्स स्टार्ट होता है. क्लब ऑफ रोम which is the most and the first not most, it is the first global effort, and it's a global think tank which published a book in 1972. The name of the book is very important, Limits to Growth. Then you see that there are another efforts also, like international agency, United Nations Environment Program started holding international conferences and promoting detailed study for the conservation of the natural resources. These two are there. Then third, you can give about the Brundtland Commission, which was established in the year 1987, and this Brundtland report, which was our common future. In this report, first time the sustainable development term was used. All these things must come in your answer, है ना. पहला आपका हो गया रोम, क्लब ऑफ रोम. सेकेंड हो गया यूनाइटेड नेशंस एनवायरमेंटल प्रोग्राम, ठीक है. एंड उसके बाद हमारा जो नेक्स्ट है वो है ब्रंटलैंड कमीशन. एंड देन ये ब्रंटलैंड कमीशन कब हुआ था? 1987. और इसके बाद 1992 का जो है दैट इज़ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट, रियो समिट. और रियो समिट के बाद आप क्योटो प्रोटोकॉल देंगे, है ना. देन पेरिस कॉन्फ्रेंस, ये सारे आ जाएंगे. क्योटो प्रोटोकॉल, it was signed in the year 1997, and then Paris conference. In 2016, है ना. तो ये इस तरह से आपका जो आंसर है वो कंप्लीट होगा. क्या क्या ग्लोबल एफर्ट्स जो हैं वो किए गए फॉर द प्रोटेक्शन, फॉर द कंजर्वेशन ऑफ द नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज. And now we see the next question. The next question is what do you mean by global commons and explain some global or explain some international treaties for the management and ownership of for the management of global commons. Okay, what do you mean by global commons? Explain some international treaties for the management of them. So what do we mean by global commons? Global commons are those areas or regions of the world which are located outside the sovereign jurisdiction of any one state, and they require common governance by international community. There are many international treaties for the management of these global commons. These are following. The first is Antarctica Treaty of 1959, then Montreal Protocol 1987, then Antarctica Environmental Protocol of 1991. So this is all your answer. So this is all for today. So this is all for today, and in the next class we will be doing we will start a new chapter, globalization.